So this is the third or fourth time that I have featured Atowak on my channel, and they constantly are improving their watches. And today I think we have the pinnacle of what they have created. This is a 3-arm wandering hour that looks a lot like an Urwerk, and it gets a case that is very special, a very special sapphire crystal. They put a lot of work into this watch, and it really doesn't cost all that much money, especially when you compare it to those brands like Urwerk and MB&F, especially Urwerk, who use a very similar mechanism for telling time. Atowak obviously paying homage to Urwerk, however, at a very affordable price. Today we're actually going to be taking a look at their new spaceship, and we're actually going to compare it to an Urwerk, the Urwerk 103. So let's flip the camera and take a look at the newest iteration of Atowak's Wandering Hour, the spaceship. Out of the ordinary watches are definitely my thing. I love watches like this. I love the original Atowak that they came out with a while ago that had just sort of I think it was just a wandering hour that was very simple. It had a weird shape. It wasn't the greatest watch that I've ever seen, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. They were doing something very different from other watch brands and offering it at a fantastic price. Then they came out with the Cobra. That's the watch right here that sort of took it to a new level, and they copied sort of a mechanism that Urwerk use in their watches, in their higher end watches, and they only make higher end watches. And it basically has a wandering hour that has these cubes that rotate as the time progresses. So this is also a wandering hour. This is their new spaceship. This is their newest offering, and it's in a new case. It gets a spectacular sapphire crystal. Look at that. It's beveled right down the middle. And it's powered by the exact same movement as the other watches that they have made in the past. So you get a 9000 series Miyota movement, and they put a very nice special custom rotor on this watch. Very similar to their previous watch, which was it was like a 70s inspired version of this watch. It's the same mechanism, and they've used it a number of times now. This gets a screwed together case. You can see there's actually screws holding in the case. You have the crown here at the 12 o'clock, for lack of a better term, because there's really no 12 o'clock position on the actual watch. So you could see that there is 12 o'clock, but it's just when those markers actually hit that 60 on that minute track. So the minute track is here. It works the same way as the Cobra. It works exactly the same way as many Urwerk. And in fact, I have an Urwerk to show you guys. It's a 103.03. I'm going to put it side by side with this watch. This is a 3-arm wandering hour. The one that I have on my wrist is a 4-arm wandering hour. This is in blue, like I mentioned, so you're getting a blue strap and a blue buckle. This is a pretty blue watch. The buckles are really nice on here, very hardy, thick rubber straps, and they have this really easy to use deployment system. It's just a tab here, and you're able to get the strap off pretty easily. I'll do a close-up of that so you can see it. What they've done here that's a little bit different from the previous sort of crazy model that they did, which was again the Cobra that I have right here, which has 2 sapphire crystals which are flat. They've gone with one large sapphire crystal which is beveled, and obviously not completely flat. Does not interrupt the time telling capabilities, which is really good. Most wandering hours don't have a running seconds. What they've done here is put a running seconds smack dab in the middle of the watch, right in the center of that wheel. And it's just essentially another wheel that sits on top and spins. And I believe they have loomed that, and they have also loomed the entire track down here, and they have loomed the entire track for the wandering hour. So there is tons of loom. There's sort of 2 different colors blue on here. So you can see that there's sort of a darker blue in these little notches here on the side of the watch. There's a little bit of a difference between the blue that's on the top of the case and the bottom of the case. There's brushing, there's polishing. It's actually a very heavy watch, because I can imagine that sapphire crystal is pretty thick, and to achieve that, it must be pretty difficult. Very quickly, I'm going to do measurements on this. Then I'm going to show you what's on my wrist side by side with this watch, and then we will do a loom shot. We'll also talk about price. So this is kind of a weird watch to measure because at this sort of thick part of the watch, you're getting around a 42.5 millimeter, 42.6 millimeter width. But then at the crown or near the crown, you're getting a 31.67, depending on how far you go down. So if you could catch it all the way at the bottom, you're getting around 31 and change. So 31.6. So it sort of tapers, the tapering case. At its thickest portion, it is around 15.5. That's at the peak of that sapphire crystal. And of course, the case back is flat. The lug to lug is actually pretty easy to measure on here. It's 51.8. However, again, that is a little bit deceiving because it's curved on both sides. You do have this little jut out of the crown. It's a crown protector. So that is a little bit strange. When you pull out that crown, speaking of which, you pull out the crown just like that. And again, very similar to an Urwerk. You can go both directions and those will flip. And now you can see those flip up here. It's a very simple system. It's basically the same system that Urwerk use. It's essentially a little pin that sticks up and it flips those little discs. That's it. There you go. I mean, it's a cool complication and it's a very easy way of telling time. If you get used to it, it actually is very, very easy. Very quickly, on my wrist is an Urwerk. It is the 103.03. This is my watch. I recently purchased this. It was a huge purchase for me and a very, very cool watch, obviously. But look at this. I mean, I'm not saying they look similar. Obviously, this is blue. It has a different shape of case, and it's a 3-star wheel, I guess you would call it, or 3 wandering hour, 3-arm wandering hour. This is a 4-arm wandering hour. This is also made out of solid white gold, but you can see the inspiration here is really, really heavy from Urwerk. They're definitely trying to take on these big brands by offering an affordable version of those watches. And of course, I mean, it does work. It's basically, the same mechanism. I think it looks actually pretty good. It's a little bit wild. The colors are a little bit wild. That sapphire crystal is a little bit wild, but so is this one. And this is a little bit more of a classic version of a wandering hour, if you want to call it classic. It still looks like a spaceship, but look at that. This is going to be $1,300 or $1,399 actually. I think eventually it would be $18.99, but if you sign up with your email, they're giving you like 40% off or something like that. So $13.99 for this watch. It comes with 2 rubber straps. There is no bracelet for this as far as I know. They did not send it with a bracelet, but it comes with a black strap and a blue strap at that $13.99. I think that's a really good price. And I have to tell you, it feels really heavy in hand. It feels like a really nicely made watch. There it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. I think it wears very similar to that Urwerk, and it's actually pretty heavy, even compared to that Urwerk, which is made out of gold. This is almost as heavy, maybe heavier. I think because this has that very heavy sapphire crystal on it, it must add some weight to it. It's a very, very heavy watch, and it feels really well made. Like I mentioned, I have a 7.5-inch wrist. This is around, I would say this wears like a 41mm watch, maybe a 42mm watch. It's around 43mm at its thickest portion, at its widest portion, and it's around 15mm at its thickest portion. That's that right here, that little peak on that sapphire. Lume is fantastic. You can see that little wheel in the middle, the seconds wheel just spinning, sort of floats above the 3-arm wandering hour. It looks like something in outer space. Very, very cool, very good execution. And then of course, each one of the hours is lume because you have that large sapphire crystal that obviously allows those to charge. And then you have this minute track that is really bright, lots of lume on there. They did an excellent job with the lume. And again, everything is able to charge because of that big sapphire window. $13.99 for a watch that functions like a $80,000, $90,000 Urwerk. Urwerk are very expensive watches, and what they're doing here is giving you a taste of that, and I would say it's a big taste of that for a fraction of the price. And you're getting a lot of the look as well. Very cool watches for very, very good prices. These are in pre-order stage right now. So if you go to their website and sign up, use your email address and sign up with them, they will allow you to pre-order with, I think it's like $400 off or something like that. So it's going to be $18.99 and then it goes down to $13.99. So it's probably around $500 off or something like that. So I don't know the exact percentage, but they have it on their website. Definitely check it out. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.